And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Strategic Command in the Cold Arms campaign as the Central Powers. This is the third stream. I believe we're at the beginning of a turn here. We are awaiting more shells here at this artillery piece. We want to dig the French out of this location. It does look like the French have, in the meantime, improved their entrenchment, so we actually don't necessarily have enough shells here to completely de-entrench Verdun when we go into Verdun. But that would be one place where we'd be attacking. Verdun is one of the national morale objectives for the French. So driving them out of Verdun will drop French national morale. Although it is important to remember, and this scenario, the French, I believe, get national morale back if they can retake their national morale objectives. So it is important not just to take it from the French, but to keep the French from getting it back. That's not the case for the other powers, as far as I am aware. It is a French-specific thing. Most of the French objectives, if they take them back, they get basically the same amount of national morale as they lost losing it. The exception being Paris. Although they do get some back for taking Paris back. They just don't get it all back. And I think they have a couple... I think they have a secondary capital somewhere, so you can't just get them to surrender by taking the capital. Although I may be wrong with that. They don't have a secondary one. They did at least have secondary supplies. I'm not sure if they have a secondary capital. Alternative, yeah, that's their alternative capital. So if you do take Paris, they won't start rolling to surrender. Then Manchester and Edinburgh are the alts for the UK. So all the majors that you have to defeat effectively have more than one capital, for capital terms. Petrograd, Moscow, same sort of thing. Serbia, most of their places are alternatives, except for Pristina here, which is not. Okay, so we're not in a position to start a bombardment here. And we're also not upgraded, so this battery won't be super dangerous. Do I want to turn the trench around, or do I want to heal? I think the answer is we want to turn the trench around. At the end of the last stream, I resisted doing any of this turn, if memory serves. You're not dug in. You probably do want to dig in. Let's get you forward. Dig you in. I think we want to move the artillery here. Yeah, it's either here or here. I think on the C is going to be better. 5 hit points, probably wants to heal up. Because of the entrenchment here, we probably don't want to attack there. I suppose... Can I? I can. Okay. So let's beat up that HQ. Rolled far worse than I would have hoped. And of course, we're not quite successfully interdicting the supply line there. Feels like a recon run to the place we're attacking. You've got 5 shells. We need 6 to de-entrench the fortress. Although right now we've mostly got detachments in attack position around the fortress. We do probably want to slam this mountain one. Let's do a recon run and de-entrench that, and then attack that one. The German artillery here is upgraded so that it does de-entrench. There we go. Yeah, I was hoping I'd be able to entrench there. So to be fair, we are going to get the benefits from entrenchment, just not the directional benefits in that location. I suppose we take up that position so we don't lose the trenches there. And of course the artillery is going to want to move up in preparation for bombarding the next location. 2v4 is tempting. Let's take the 2v4. Take the heal here. I'm not going to over-reinforce these guys, which we could do. I think the rest of this line is not going to give us as good of a counter, or good of attack. 2v4 is tempting. I might take the 2v4. 1v3 is also tempting. Yeah, we're currently sitting in a position where a trench is facing the wrong way. But we'll take the risk. Take the 1v4. We did in fact get 1v4. And then we got a 1 to 3. We'll take. Nope, we rolled a 4. Okay. And yeah, I think it will inch towards the Russians here. Because we're only moving one tile, in most places we should probably be able to dig in. Yep, except there. Of course, there we're getting the hills, we're getting the mountains, so it'd be decent enough defense. Push the plane up. I think we're pretty good in the Bulgaria or the Serbia area and the Eastern Front. We're moving in on the fortress here. If we can break that fortress and take Warsaw, the national morale hit to Russia should be significant. And from partisans, we're suppressing those partisans. We're not suppressing the ones down here, although the ones down here are activated by the British. They're not on by default. One to 2 is tempting, although we wouldn't be able to finish the guy off. You're not dug in. Which kind of makes sense, because the unit we had defending there did get destroyed. Let's do... Can I do a swap there? Yes. You're dug in. So let's reinforce you. Yeah, you up to full complement. We're going to keep the two of the 3 detachments here as reserves, in case something goes wrong. Otherwise, we're going to pull the 3rd one back. Might send him down towards Basara. Again, a lot of what we're doing over here in the Ottoman Empire is tying down British and Russian forces not really on the pursuit of actually destroying stuff, per se. Do an attrition on the sub. Right now, of the 4 ships over here, the destroyer I think is the only one that can damage it. So we do want to keep the destroyer intact. In fact, I think right now we don't have anything in Elster and Garen sector that can actually fight the sub there. You're dug in. You need a heal. Dug in, dug in, dug, and dug. Oh no, you are not dug in. It's probably why you've been mauled a bit. I'm gonna go for the dig in rather than the recovery there. And then over here in the west, we did work out that we don't have enough artillery capacity to take that hex. Well, we probably do have enough artillery capacity to take the hex. It would just make it be extra bloody right now, which is maybe not what we want. Okay, have you heal up. It looks like we're going to have a bit of a slog going in here. We'll bring up the reserves from the top of the line so that we've got enough to throw in to make sure we succeed. So we're beginning preparations for various things in the west, but otherwise the west is actually surprisingly quiet for the moment. Reconnaissance run with the dirigible. Nothing found. We're being told there's probably a sub. Right now our subs can't actually fight other subs, and I don't want to run out that far with the destroyer. We've run the risk of losing the destroyer if I do that. You're low on supply. So you want to come home. You've got supply 9, so you can definitely hang out here. Okay, so you can get on that line. I don't appreciate the Discord pops up on that window, but it is what it is for this game. Yeah, let's get on that one. So right now I'm not necessarily going for more German national morale. We're going for interdicting the MPPs. So with that, I think we'll be interdicting all the lines. All the in- and outbound lines should be being interdicted from the UK. Out here, less so. In fact, you're on the way back to port to do some repairs. I think that's a major port, so we should be able to fully repair in that port. Oh, and that is my sub. I was thinking of that. So that one is the UK's sub. That one is mine. That one is mine. So you're on stealth. Gonna get away. There's too many destroyers in the area. Not going to be able to make the run out as is. Let's pull back. Pull back to port. I'm a little bit worried about how damaged some of these are, so we're going to do a repair. Not because I'm necessarily planning on using them anytime soon, but because they're close enough that the sub has the possibility of actually destroying them in port, which would be a problem. And we'd love to be able to attack the destroyers with the battleships. That'd be great trade. But the sub is in the way. We don't have a sub response. You could use a heal. Are you dug in? You are dug in. Okay, so Austria-Hungary can't afford another destroyer. And I think we're at the phase where we're basically done moving everyone we're purchasing and reinforcing for the turn. So for the moment, there's nothing that's going to be a decreased price from losses. So we haven't suffered any losses that we need to replace. So this is all force growth. We got in on the dirigible, another airship, which I want as the Germans. Austria-Hungary doesn't really have enough to pay for anything anyway. Although even they're getting getting their own dirigible, getting their own reconnaissance vessel. I think that's what that is. Oh no, that's a fighter. They're getting their own fighter. Yeah, that's fair. That's the extra mountain guy that I trained. Okay. Okay, so if I want new stuff, I need to get new stuff. One of the reasons I was checking that, I was trying to remind myself if I'd picked up the second airship. And I had, so we don't need us. To be fair, we're not allowed to buy a third one at the moment either, so we have what we have. A little bit tempted to pick up another round of aircraft for the Germans. Do I have a... Is that the German R1? That is a German one. So we got fighter here, we got fighter bomber there. I tend to like to fire them up. So you've got escorts. Which is making it a bit awkward, because apparently I am allowed to have one more bomber than I am allowed to have fighter bombers. And then fighters to go with them. Yeah, that appears to be the case. Okay, so let's purchase a fighter. Get a second fighter. And I apparently can afford a core. I think we'll do research instead. Got the artillery already queued here. It's tempting to maybe grab more cores as the Ottomans, but no, I think we're in research land. Okay, research-wise, I can invest 235 more. We can go up to 1,600 more. But then the question is, what do we want it in? And it's always tempted to take up more industrial tech so we can get the industry going faster. There is actually an argument to getting spying and intelligence. It's not particularly strong as the Central Powers. And it's not particularly strong as the Central Powers because I believe the British start with one chit of investment. So unless you heavily invest in it, you will be behind. Of course, in theory, that means because we're behind, we're suffering a malice to research rate. Yeah, I think I'm still going to invest in it. We're going to pick up both jets here. I'll use those 75. Yeah, I'll take a third in production tech. I'll make all the units cheaper. None I can spend here. Although the big ones I'd be wanting to spend here is trench warfare, I think. Trench warfare, industry tech. Ottomans have infantry coming, got artillery coming. Probably don't want to invest in more in those. Probably do want to invest in trench warfare. So let's make the Ottomans learn how to dig a trench better. And then let's actually get them going on industry and production as well. And we got a railgun coming up. We don't have another artillery piece. That's our artillery piece until Bulgarians join. Got to here. Okay, I think this is where we are going to be for the end of the turn. So let's cycle the turn. Let's see how the Entente handles their dilemmas, let's say. Nova. So the fortress is now under siege. Garrison morale is reduced. Welsh miners strike over pay. They're disrupting convoys in both locations. Blockade, or there's one more there than I was expecting. Must have misread one of them. Scientists progress in trench warfare up to 60%. Gas and shell production, level 1. So that means we're going to get 2 shells a turn as the Germans. Trench warfare 1 for the Ottomans. Means we're a little bit less worried about... Oh, we're getting raided on the Norway line. Okay. A little less worried about the Russians breaking through the Caucasus line. Interesting that sounded like a operate to move it instead of just walking it. That doesn't necessarily surprise me. We're on all 4 shipping lines, then the British destroyers are going to be coming soon. It's the reality of trying to do that. We don't know the Russian battleship is in the Black Sea. We know it's heavily damaged. The whole Mesopotamian theater to us is mostly delay. Delay. We like it when the Serbians attack us. Looks like the fortress is under attack. We'll see if it lands. They may have to swap in a German garrison there. Interesting, the sub has gone up. The Adriatic Sea. Okay, looks like the fortress is held. Obviously, the Italians are late entries into the war, so they don't have artillery 1. So any attempt to take the fortress is going to be a very bloody affair for them. The question is, can we make it bloody enough that it's okay for us to lose the fortress? Which, that's a hard ask. The Italian front is very much a front where, until we're about to win the game, is not a front we're actually interested in winning on. It's a front we don't want to lose. Central powers are disrupting the Egypt-UK line and the UK-Russia convoys. They managed to actually get us off the other blockades. Brent's ace gains his first kill over the Western Front. Although that's a story event. That's not... There's no actual fighting right now over that front. So we did at least 23 MPP of shipping damage. Okay, we'll have full shells next turn. They're going to have entrenchment 1 just because we haven't increased our capacity to hold shells. And the next logistics is well off, so we're never going to have... We're going to want to do this assault before we get it. So the opening on this attack is going to be a little bloody, but I think we should be fine. Let's do the raiding. So the ones that got jumped... Let's try to do a swap. So you've got full supply, although you're slightly damaged. You have been detected. I'm not taking a 3-2. You'd be a little damaged for trying to get out to safety. Let's push you off. What I'm hoping is that Destroyer will go running down to try to find this one. And in the meantime, we can come back to the line and basically ping-pong back and forth between the positions. You're there. Okay. You need to supply, so we're going to send you down the line. If we crash headlong into the enemy sub, we at least know where it is. Oh, in fact, we sailed through it, so that's where it is. Again, probably far enough out that I do not feel safe enough going after it with a destroyer. And we actually have another sub here on silence. I think this is one that came back when we finished repairing it. One to 3 is tempting. We're probably not going to get 1 to 3. Yeah, 2 to 2. Can you heal to full this deep in? Yes. Okay, I can't resist the opportunity. That might not look like that's a big deal. That, in fact, is a big deal. That is now interdicting Russian supplies being sent, I believe. Get you healed up. Ah, forgot to put it on surface rating. Whoops. I did the same over here, didn't I? Yeah. So those won't be rating this turn. They should be able to rate next turn. I'll have to swap them back to rating stance. Get you healed up. I don't think we're going to have any good opportunities to attack here. 1 to 3 isn't that bad. That's not really where I want to be attacking, though. That's a little close, but it's off the oil fields is what's going on there. Got 4 shells. So next turn, we're going to want to be attacking the fortress. We want to attack the fortress next turn. Can't repair those. Okay. Yeah, so I think we're gonna take that fortress next turn. We should be well prepared for it. We can shell it until it has no entrenchment, and then all the neighbors can pounce it. So we're gonna basically be taking 2 of the Entente fortresses next turn. Yeah, take it anyway. 3 to 1 is gonna be fine. We take 1 damage. Taking 2's maybe a little bit of a stretch. But yeah, I think we're approaching the point where the Russian front may begin to collapse. We keep playing our cards well. Don't like the fact that this artillery has been inactive, let's say. Which is definitely a sign that the Russian situation is not great. Because that means they're not attacking. They're not even getting close enough for us to attack them. Okay. Probably overkill from the artillery standpoint, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the artillery opening fire pretty heavily next turn. Okay. And then again, I don't think we're going to get any good ratios here. No. So that's the Eastern Front, or that's the Ottoman Front, Serbian Front. Again, more static than I really would like, but once we pick up Artillery 1 as the Austro-Hungarians, it will speed up. And I think I have... Do we have more artillery coming as the Austro-Hungarians? No, I think we got all our artillery... Oh, I could get more artillery as the Austro-Hungarians. We don't actually have all of those deployed yet. Though all the ones we got queued up are deployed, so I should really be saving up for more artillery as the Austro-Hungarians. Yeah, because we're likely to actually get that tech in either next turn or the turn after. You're going to want to heal. 2 to 3 is actually tempting. What's our supply here? 6. Yeah, 2 to 3 is tempting. I'm going to take the 2 to 3. You dug in. It doesn't look like you dug in. You probably want to heal up. You're damaged because you didn't recover last turn, because we had you dig instead. We'll push you up behind this one. Worst case scenario, we may decide to swap these two. Yeah, we're waiting for the artillery bombardment here. We'll have all the reserves for the incoming fighting. Ah, and I've got you. I've probably left you there a little long. You are the perfect solution to the Belgorod problem. Yeah. Okay. We're going to be taking major locations for the Entente powers on the next turn. That'd be the plan. We did the Navy up there. We did the Navy down here. I think we're good to go. Let's just spend what we've got accumulated. We're going to want logistics as the Germans, so we can store more artillery shells and we can operate around our troops a little bit better. Let's grab the rest of those. Yeah, I can afford to pick up mobility, so we'll pick up mobility. And... oh, I can't afford... we're actually reaching the point where I can't really afford much more, or can't invest more. So everything I can buy has to be 80 or cheaper for the moment. That's better fighters. Increases fighter and seaplane bomb. Okay, so I probably want to pick up aerial warfare, so I can get more fighters. And then that is leaving us as our surplus MPP. When the Bulgarians come into the war, the German MPP are also spent on the Bulgarians. I think I want to save up for another artillery piece with you. So unless I could afford industry tech, I don't think we're going to invest here. Oh, I will pick up the last trench. It's going to take a while for that to invest, but we actually might get close to the next trench level there soon. And then we probably want... probably want to do improved command and control. As elements. Let's get that underway. Okay. Now let's cycle the turn. We're going to save up a little bit. I think now that I've remembered, we've got an artillery piece, German artillery piece to bring down here. Noting the German artillery piece doesn't have its artillery upgrade, which we need to do that before that. Okay, so we're not going to be taking Belgrade next turn because we don't have the upgrades applied. Yeah, okay. We could have been doing it this turn. So that's a my bad. Because it was a couple turns ago, I think we had it deployed up here. We could have done the upgrade and then done the upgrade, and then the upgrade, and then the upgrade. It would have been ready by now. I'd have been properly paying attention. Navy... Yeah, we're ready to cycle a turn. USA is protesting the sinking of one of its merchantmen. That's because I'm interdicting the US trade line. Okay, we got artillery 1 on the Austrian-Hungarians as well. So all the artillery should be that isn't upgraded should get upgraded next turn. Okay, if that destroyer stays there, we're gonna give it a bad day. Didn't stay there. Shame. Although there was another destroyer in the area, it might be the other destroyer about to come up. Might have been clearing space for the other destroyer. Ooh, the Russians fixed their battleship. So some strategic bombarding from the Russians. Reconnaissance by the Russians. And the British. And the French. Okay, lots of thinking. Nothing particularly threatening to our forces. Also, sometimes those are the most eerie of turns. What are they doing if they're not attacking us? Central Power Raiders are disrupting the Canada-UK line, Egypt-UK line, UK-Russia lines. Naval units north of Scotland are blockading still, and North Sea are blockading still. Van is damaged by bombardment. We did decent raiding damage this turn. Our airship has arrived. So now we can, well, next turn we'll be able to do double reconnaissance runs with the dirigibles. Keep the British out of Dodger Bank area. Sub is still there. What is our national morale up to, or down to? Specifically the German. Still above 100. I'm not going to do any unrestricted warfare, naval warfare yet. Oop. Well, we found the British dreadnoughts. Okay. Get a few more blockades going. Distract the alien, or the Entente disruptors, or destroyers. Spread them out a bit more. Grab artillery weapons on both of those. I probably do want more artillery as the Austro-Hungarians. Can the Austro-Hungarians afford a piece? Yes, if I do no reinforcement. We took pretty negligible damage that turn, so I will buy that artillery. It'll need upgrading, but I'm not too worried about that. There we go. Russian battleship destroyed. We made the submarine go and hide. You're dug in, right? Yeah. Oops. No. Here we are. It's misclicked. Artillery's continuing to roll up. No, we'll just give up the trench there. That'll be fine. time to get this German artillery firing. There we go. Fortress fallen. And then we got another artillery piece here. Let's de-entrench you. Interesting choice to retreat to. Okay, doing some damage to the Russian forces here. Oop, I jumped. Okay, that detachment might be having a bad day, but honestly, if we want something to have a bad day, the detachment's probably the best thing to have a bad day. And again, here we got 7 shells. That's not the perfect number, but it is a workable number. Send in the recon. Begin the bombardment. That's all the shells. And there goes Verdun Fortress. I brought over extra reserves, and we probably don't need them. Which I suppose, if you're doing an assault, that's kind of what you want. You don't have to use up every last reserve just to take the place, because then you might not have anything left to defend the place. Okay, let's move... Okay, due to the train in the area, there's no way I can move. Being told there's no way I can move there. I'm actually surprised that you're not classed as asleep. given you don't have enough move to move anywhere. We'll move you there. Okay. Yep, successfully took 2 major forts. Belgrade will be next turn. Was potentially going to try looking for the destroyers down here, but I think we want to save the MPP on the Austro-Hungarians because we don't... Well, save the potential that we could lose the MPP because we don't have replacements per se. We're almost at the point where we can get the rail line in. Have I done the subs? Yes, I did the subs already. No, maybe not all the subs. We didn't do anything with you. Although we're going to leave you there. You're in a perfect spot. You're fine. We moved. Could move you more, but no, you're fine where you are. And then you found found the dreadnoughts. Sadly, it's just you, so you're not going to do anything else. No, I think we're good with where we are there. So that's good. That's good. That's good. Research-wise, the Germans can't research anything more because we're at research max until we research something. Austro-Hungarians, we spent everything. Ottomans, I think, have everything they need. They actually probably want more units if they're going to get stuff. Or an HQ. I could probably do with another HQ. Yeah, let's save until we get another HQ with the Austro-Hungarians. And the Germans are, frankly, quite rich. So grab an HQ with them. It would probably help to stiffen the northern portion. Well, we got mostly German units on the Alps, so if we can get some Germans over there, or a German HQ over there, that'll help those units. And then, yeah, let's cycle the turn. Let's see how the Entente responds to the fall of Verdun and the fall of Novogrodsk over here. Basically putting Warsaw under siege. We're not in good shelling position yet for Warsaw. Although we'd only have... Even if we were in good position, we'd only have 2 shells. Oh, okay. I can get in good position. Okay. So, Warsaw next turn. Yeah, Warsaw next turn. As we can de-entrench it with bombardment. We'll see the Russians probably panicking around here to try to protect their artillery piece. And then we'll be in firing position on Belgrade. So we'll basically level the defenses at Belgrade and begin a generalized offensive in Serbia next turn with the benefits of the improved artillery. French morale falls due to the loss of Verdun. Germany celebrates the capture of Verdun. Loss of Novogrodsk, probably pronouncing that slightly wrong, reduces the Russian national morale. Daunt raiders disrupting the Norway-German convoys. You got hit with rough seas. Well, didn't take any damage. That's fine. Taunt naval units, taunt naval units north of Scotland, blockades important Germany, and in the North Sea. We've got our airship development complete as Germany. I didn't remember I was doing airship development. Maybe we started with it? Either way. So 508 MPP as we into August here. 300 and just short of 200 there. Okay, so if a lot of those are unable to run away, we'll be in a good position to attack with the dreadnoughts of Austria-Hungary. Oops, sub contact. I think that's a little bit the AI doesn't necessarily remember that it's not able to attack subs with battleships. I don't think a human player would make that mistake. Or at least an experienced human player would make that mistake. Heavy bombers bombing Von again. So as soon as the turn ends, I'll show you the morale damage that specifically Verdun has done to the French. French do not appreciate the fall of Verdun usually. We do need to hold it. We can't just let them take it back. But yeah, it looks like the French have still not developed Artillery 1, so they're going to struggle to attack into our higher level trenches at this point. Until they develop Artillery 1 and start bombarding us that way. And we got 4 sets of raids off. Greece, UK, Canada, UK, India, UK. I think that was UK to Russia, unless the UK to Russia one's offline due to it being winter. Van was damaged. 5 raids. Greece to UK, Canada, UK, Canada, UK. Oh, we hit Canada, UK twice. India to UK and Egypt to UK. So UK is getting pretty heavily blockaded. We didn't actually stop. Oh, because we actually got jumped on the Russia line. So the Russian blockade wasn't working. Anyway, before we end this part, I will go ahead and take a quick look at the graphs. Loss-wise, we can see the Russians are the majority loser of the campaign, being just short of 50% of all losses being Russian. Whereas us, the Central Powers, are pulling 13% collectively. 16% Russia, or the UK, 14 France. Italy's only lost 1%, 7% Serbia. And there is the detailed ones if you want to see that. 24 Russian infantry corps destroyed, 6 cavalry corps destroyed, and 3 mountain corps destroyed. And debris jet up. And a couple of detachments that really don't matter. National morale-wise, British are down below 90, so they're now going to be taking a very slight hit to their morale. Nationwide, the French are down to 76, so they're still over 75. That's when the next one, I think, happens. Italians are barely in the war, so they're still over 90. The Nova Fort wasn't super valuable, other than it being a good defensive position. But that is enough. The Russians are below 90. Warsaw in particular is worth a lot, so they're gonna hit hard when Warsaw goes. Oh, and that's Serbia. So Serbia's at 88. Russia with Nova gone is below 75, so I think they're taking their second nationwide second nationwide morale hit. The third and I think the final one's 50%. America isn't in yet. Germany is happy at 106%. Austria-Hungary is at 97%, and the Ottomans are up at 87%. So that's the national morale status. That is where we're going to go ahead and put the part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be another part up tomorrow. We've got offensives to go. We're going to attack in Serbia. We're going to be attacking around Warsaw itself. At which point I may try to pull the artillery off and try to do some sort of pincer maneuver where we try to catch the bulk of the Russian forces west of the marshes here. If Serbia goes well, we should have a link up through Bulgaria to the Ottoman Empire. That'll allow us to stream in forces to deal with the Egyptians, or deal with the UK and the Egypt, as well as suppress the partisans down here. As well as just start shifting resources to the Ottomans. So, if you're watching YouTube, there'll be part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break to sip a little bit of tea and stretch the legs just a little bit before we record the next hour-long part. And then we'll be back to recording the next part in a moment. So, until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.